Good Saturday to you. I'm Storm Team 9 Meteorologist Patrick Ellis here with your ENC Weather Update for this January the 25th, 2014. Couple of flurries across the area today and a couple of light returns on the radar. Not a lot of it was making it down to the ground because we have had such dry air at the surface. A little cool today, and especially with the southwesterly breezes across the area. We do have a wind advisory that is currently in effect until 6 a.m. tomorrow, Sunday, for Carteret, Outer Banks, Dare, and also Outer Banks, Hyde counties. Looking ahead, we're still talking about a big cool down as we head towards next week, and also that potential for the S word. We're kind of break it down here in the forecast update video as best as we can at this point in time. Here's a look at the precision forecast model, and clouds will continue to clear out as we head through the overnight hours. Most areas inland dropping into the low and mid-20s. I think mainly mid-20s, maybe some upper 20s as you head closer to Highway 17. Low 30s nearing the freezing mark as you head down east. And for the coastal area, it's probably about 38 or so out towards Hatteras tonight with clearing skies, and the winds will calm down as well. Going into tomorrow, looking nice across the area. Temperatures into the low mid-40s, maybe some upper 30s still lingering around up towards the north, but overall not too bad of a day setting up for us. As we head into Monday, clouds start to build in ahead of our next system, and temperatures will actually be quite warm. Will likely be the warmest day of the 7-day period, with areas down south possibly hitting the 60-degree mark. North of there, likely low to mid-50s. So overall, not too bad of a setup for us as we head into Monday. Now, heading into Tuesday, that's another deal because we will have a frontal boundary that will push through the region on Monday, and will make things much colder as we head into the evening hours. On Tuesday, we'll likely only top out near 30 degrees. And you see down here in the Gulf of Mexico, moisture gathering. You see the nice fetch basically from the Gulf of Mexico all the way up into the Atlantic. And the precision forecast model actually paints a lot of moisture with that low pressure system developing, and even paints a little bit of snow trying to get into down East Carteret County, the Outer Banks, and the Crystal Coast. And that's Tuesday night into Wednesday, and everything kind of lifts out of here after that. But we're going to continue to watch this over the next couple of days. We still got a lot of time to kind of pinpoint this as we go into the next couple of days. And also, we've been talking about that big wide range of modeling. We will have the cold air in place. I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think more so the issue is going to come in as we see that low track. Where does that low set up? Because that's going to help to enhance the precipitation rates. So the low track will be pivotal. The further east it is, the less we see, and we'll likely see next to nothing if it's further east than where it is right now. And then if it's further to the west, it could be a walloping for somebody. But we just kind of have to watch the trends, and we're trying to forecast a system that hasn't even formed yet. So that's another thing, a little kink in the armor there as we head into Tuesday. And I've said this before, this is a low confidence, high bust potential with this system. And what that means by high bust potential is that we may strike out completely with this, and it may just be completely dry. If that thing goes far enough offshore, and we've kind of seen the trends offshore the last couple of runs, so that's kind of worrying us. But at the same time, that's good news because we wouldn't be dealing with, you know, inches of snow on the ground. But for some people, you just want to see a lot of snow, and I understand that. It is a rarity, but at the same time, you know, it kind of has to, you just kind of have to go with the punches here, especially if this doesn't come to fruition. So we just have to kind of watch it. Let's look at the modeling. We'll talk about it here as well. Alright, here's a look at the European model. This is tomorrow at 1 p.m., valid at 1 p.m. on Sunday. We're talking about sunshine back into the forecast. Maybe a couple of high mid-level clouds trying to sneak in there late in the day. And like I said, temperatures will likely be into the low and mid-40s, kind of depending on where you are. Then we head into Monday. Look down here towards the Gulf of Mexico. Moisture starting to gather. Little system off the coast of Baja California trying to get going as well. And also you see a big dip in the upper pattern as well as those thickness values start to drop. This is 1 p.m. on Monday. And once again, we're going to be in at least a nice little flow kind of coming out of the south. And that's going to allow for our temperatures to warm up. We should be able to make it to the mid-50s, if not a little warmer, especially south of US 70 through the afternoon hours. And we'll see probably mostly cloudy skies, but we'll kind of walk through this. You see that moisture down there in the Gulf of Mexico trying to work its way northward. And you see how the thickness values all are pushing eastward. So at that point, you've got the Arctic air pushing eastward through eastern North Carolina. By the time we head towards early Tuesday morning, we'll wake up into the mid-20s, if not low 20s. And once again, you see the moisture continue to stream northward. And here we go on Wednesday. This will be Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Nothing doing here across the east, but a nice little fetch of moisture coming from the Gulf of Mexico all the way just offshore. Then we fast forward a little bit. That's 1 a.m. on Wednesday. And see some moisture trying to sneak in here behind the cold air. And you see a big node trying to sneak in there with a little shortwave energy trying to sneak in there as well. That's Wednesday morning at that'd be Wednesday morning 7 a.m. And everything starts to lift out by the time we head towards Wednesday afternoon. But in wake of that, we're still very cold. Now, if you look at the European snowfall amounts, it basically puts a dusting down at the coast and maybe 2 inches out at the Outer Banks, maybe at Hatteras, but nothing inland, nothing at all. Compare that to Thursday's run, the 0Z run and the 12Z run on Thursday, where it was painting 7-8 inches. This is why we keep telling folks that you cannot live by one run of one model. You kind of have to watch this thing evolve through time. It's not just one thing, one time, one deal type of situation. It's nothing like that. Here's a look at the Europeans ensemble members. Once again, 51 members, basically 51 different models basically running here. And down here at the bottom, you have a bar graph. The blue line would be the deterministic model saying, hey, that's how much we'll get from this model. The ensemble mean is basically all these members up here and getting the mean of that. If you look at that, then Greenville still stands to get 3 inches if you look at the ensemble means. Now, I will tell you this, yesterday there were a lot more ensembles on board with this. They have backed off completely. Now we look at Beaufort. This would be the ensembles for Beaufort. You see the deterministic underneath an inch. You see the blue line there. And then you look at the ensemble mean. Way up there. 4.5 inches. So we keep looking at this and saying, you know, there's still potential, but we can't say for great certainty because there is a margin of error there. Here's the GFS, the 12Z run of the GFS, and same type of scenario. Get moisture starting to stream up from the Gulf of Mexico, but the GFS has got a high pressure ridge that basically just shunts everything offshore before this thing can even get going. And all the moisture associated with it goes with it, just offshore. And has really slowed down this system. And if you look at the GFS snowfall, it's pretty much got nothing. Maybe a trace amount on, that would actually come down probably Monday night with the Clipper system, but other than that, nothing else. Then we look at the Canadian model. Now, I will tell you this, the Canadian's been a little bit, I think it's been fairly consistent, but it has been an outlier to say the least. But it does have the same idea. Moisture streaming up off the Gulf of Mexico, and probably late Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, you get that moisture starting to stream up here. We'll go back to, that's 1 a.m. on Wednesday, that's 7 a.m. on Wednesday, and that would be some decent amounts. That would probably be maybe 1/4 of an inch of liquid precipitation there, and it all kind of lifts offshore as the high pressure builds in on the backside of that. Now, this is what the Canadian is printing, and it's still got a decent coastal snowfall, but look inland, nothing pretty much. So we look at these models, and you kind of have to take them at face value of what they've been saying the last couple of days and what they are trending towards, and trying to get an average of what could happen. And in general, we've seen that there is the potential there for snow. Is there the potential for a large snow? Yeah, it's there. I can't deny that. But is there the potential, is it likely that it's going to happen? No one can say right now because we're trying to forecast something that's not even on the board yet. So if you're seeing things that are like saying, you know, this model says it's going to be 8 inches. Yeah, that model says it may say that for this run, but the next one may be completely dry. And we've seen that trend the last couple of days. One model is completely dry, the next one is wet as all get out. So we just have to continue to watch the trends, and I think by tomorrow evening we actually will have a decent enough understanding that we can start to either trim back the percentages or move them forward. But we really have to watch the track of the low pressure center. That's going to be the main issue. Now after that, we're still very cold, and I think even though you may not see snowfall at all on Tuesday or Wednesday, it's going to be darn right cold out there. We may not crack the 30-degree mark come those days. And then we go out towards Thursday. We do start to modify the air mass a little bit. We'll probably go partly sunny skies and temperatures nearing the 40-degree mark that afternoon. And then we go out towards Friday. I think mostly sunny that day. Not too bad. And temperatures get into the 40s. Likely mid to upper 40s that afternoon. So that's nice. Then we watch our next system approaching us from the west. That'd be Saturday at 1 p.m. We'd still be warm that day. I think we'll at least make the 50s. And we've gone ahead and added in a chance for rain that day as that lifts northward and kind of breaks apart. But you do see how that moist flow continues to come up off the Gulf of Mexico and wrap around that high pressure ridge down towards the south. That's Sunday. I think we still have a chance for some showers in the forecast that day and likely stay cloudy. And even going into next Monday, as that high pressure ridge down to the south is kind of funneling things around it and keeping us milder but also showery. So once again, we just continue to watch the modeling, and we will give you full updates on WNCT.com and also on Facebook and Twitter if anything does develop. But for right now, we just can't say that with great certainty that this is going to happen. And this is why we said that this is a high bust potential, because some people have already latched on to one thing that one person has said, and it may not come true. And that kind of is a ripple effect for all of us in this business, that one person says one thing but the rest of us say nothing, and kind of jumping on that one bandwagon, and then it kind of ripples down whenever it doesn't happen. So we just have to watch it closely. Stay up to date with this: Facebook, Twitter, WNCT.com. Also, we have a new Storm Team 9 app on the Apple App Store and also the Google Play Store. Download that for free. You can look at Live Viper 9, our blog forecasts, and also our video forecasts. And also, it has uses the GPS chip inside of your phone to give you up-to-date warnings as well. So great information and great stuff there on that app. So go check it out. It is free in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Have a great rest of your evening, a great day tomorrow, and a great weather week ahead.